Happy Planetfall Day, gamers! As a parallel ambassador, I've been testing Planetfall, and I've got a new build for all 6 Markolian and Cathari Paragons to share with you. Today, we're starting off with a deck that hasn't seen the light of day since early alpha, the Vehicles deck. This deck features the following Planetfall cards: 2 copies of Behind Me, 2 copies of Triumph of Mars, 1 copy of Scimitar Captain, 1 copy of the Victory, and 1 copy of Stabilized Shard. Now, only 1 new vehicle in the Victory itself might be a bit of a surprise. However, it's a couple of other updates and cards that really make this deck work. Triumph of Mars is a massive addition, and we're going to cover that in just a bit. However, Armor Division Headquarters itself has received a very nice buff. Once played, vehicles that enter the field have battle ready. Naturally, we have more than just Longbow Personnel Carrier for Crimson Fleet Machinist to draw, and we still want a high percentage chance of hitting a low-cost vehicle with our early Crimson Fleet Machinist. Even more important, because we only have 6 1-drop units in this deck, means that we're going to be opening with Crimson Fleet Machinist very often. In total, for vehicles, the deck includes 3 ammo haulers, 2 Scimitar Scout Bikes, 2 Longbow Personnel Carriers, 2 Claymore Artillery Guns, 1 Astel's Glaive, 1 Lancer Tank, and 1 the Victory. Now, 7 out of 12 of those are 2 or 3 drop units, and 3 more of them are 4 drops. That keeps our curve relatively low. And if we happen to hit a big vehicle early, it usually needs to be banked, but that becomes a very nice target for desperate measures. Let's talk about a combo that's been around for a while, but that you definitely have not seen yet. Ammo Hauler plus Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures is a useful Markolian removal effect, but it comes with a heavy additional cost of wasting a banked card. Ammo Hauler has the otherwise useless ability that the first time you waste a banked card, if your opponent has more banked cards than you, waste one of their banked cards. So when you've got the ammo hauler on board and use Desperate Measures to remove one of their bigger units, you're going to be wasting one of your banked cards, costing you some energy. However, if ammo hauler's on the board, then that means you're going to destroy one of your enemy's banked cards as well, keeping the energy playing field even. And nobody's going to be paying attention to this ability until you spring it on them. At 2 cost, Ammo Hauler is a decent early game vehicle anyways. It's mostly there to keep our Crimson Fleet Machinist with a high percentage chance of pulling a low cost vehicle, but we might as well take advantage of its ability. Revered Captain / Behind Me is one of the new split cards, but in this deck it's really only going to be played as Behind Me or get banked. We are not playing very many 1-drops, so it's not going to be very often that the unit buff is. However, Behind Me is still a very powerful effect. In our vehicles deck, it also means that up to 3 of our vehicles stay on board for at least 1 turn longer, ensuring that they pick up some extra buffs. It's great for a turn when you need to attack some big units. Ideally, you have 2 strong attackers next to a fire support base. Play Behind Me on fire support base, making the adjacent units indestructible for a turn. Take a couple of free attacks, removing their units. Then they stay indestructible until the start of your next turn. So fire support base as a defender that's indestructible means that they can't attack face or any of your units for an entire turn. Nice. Stabilized Shard is a situational card, but when you can develop it earlier and gain an energy advantage, you can get your big vehicles out faster, and they're a lot tougher to deal with. Remember, Armor Division HQ now makes your vehicles battle ready once played. You want to develop her on a turn when you can immediately follow up with a vehicle that can take advantage of the battle ready. Armor Division HQ is a 3-cost Paragon, so on turn 7 or later, this combination gets really nasty as you can follow up with Claymore Artillery Gun, Lancer Tank, or even the Victory. And when the Shard is in play already, these combos open up on turn 6. Be strategic about when you deploy your Paragon. Armor Division HQ has a second really important active ability. The first time a vehicle damages the enemy player, draw a card. Card draw is powerful in parallel. Sometimes you might want to play her earlier simply to get the card draw. Triumph of Mars really makes this deck hum. Without it, we fall flat in the late game way too often. Triumph also reduces the cost of cards, opening up lots of fun new combos. Since our vehicles deck deploys more mid-range and late game units, we tend to get great value from our Triumphs. Just make sure that you get your hand nice and low first. We will often discard only 1 or 2 cards to play Triumph on curve. When we do, we are really hoping to hit some vehicles. When this happens, we can play Armor Division HQ and a bigger vehicle unit on turn 6. If we hit a 2-drop vehicle here, it'll be a free play, so we can possibly drop 2 battle-ready vehicles on turn 6 with Armor Division HQ. Hitting face with one of those at least will also land you a card draw. And when you're really lucky, you'll hit Lancer Tank, Victory, or Glaive for a really sick turn 6. Nora is a really nice addition to this deck. Once she gets played, everything counts as a vehicle and all of your units are going to be picking up buffs, plus everything becomes a battle-ready option once you've played Armor Division HQ. Very nice. However, I wouldn't say that she is required in this deck. If you are going to run the Earthbreaker cannon, however, definitely include Nora as well. Finally, have fun with this deck. The Armor Division HQ is not likely going to develop as one of the meta decks post Planetfall. However, it's a lot of fun and your opponents are not going to see it very often, so they aren't going to be very good at dealing with all of the abilities that get tossed out. There's quite a bit of RNG when playing Armor Division HQ, but that keeps things exciting as well. If you want to play a full 40-40 version of this deck, go for it. I'm going to be doing it all day today. However, it's not going to be the strongest deck that I publish for Planetfall, so if your budget is limited, perhaps wait for the next video.
You're not gonna know what hit you.
Armed and ready.
Defeat is not the